Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedule to meet with us here this morning. I am Greg Vitri. I'm president of the Western Chester County Chamber of Commerce, and I am also president of Vitri Electric. I'm a second generation tradesman, so I'm very excited about this event today. So I'd like to thank you for joining us in person and virtually today. The Western Chester County Chamber developed the ongoing Time for the Trades events to explore the career and technical programs available in our region. With this initiative, we highlight programs that are advancing and adapting to students' needs and evaluate how we can cultivate connections between education and business to fill the demand of skilled workers in the Western Chester County workforce. Today, you will hear useful information on leveraging Pennsylvania apprenticeships for your workforce. The second piece to the Chamber's Trades Initiative is our Trade Scholarship, awarded each year to a local high school student who is going on to attend vocational technical school or going straight into the workforce. If you know a career and technical senior or would like to get involved in our trades scholarship program, please let us know. And I just want to go on, every day I'm in a different construction meeting, different job sites, and actually in the tri-state area. And what we're seeing is the demand for skilled tradespeople far outpaced the number of trade school graduates. With lucrative career options and affordable tuition, trade school offers a fast track to a successful career. With that, I would like to thank today's sponsor, the event sponsor, Mahoney Environmental and PICO. We'd also like to thank our year-long sponsors, our Platinum Partners First Resource, the Titanium Partners First Resource Bank, Platinum Partners, the Wright Agency, Vitri Incorporated, Citadel, Delaware Valley Concrete, and the Small Business Accounting Solution. And our gold partners, the Alliance for Health Equity, Sikorsky, Rhodes Energy, Brandywine Hospital, Pennsylvania American Water, Penrise Advisors, Mid-Penn Bank, ServPro of Kennett Square, Oxford. Also, a recording of this event will be housed in our Time for the Trades archive on our website at westernchestercounty.com. So feel free to share it with other colleagues. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Joy Gase Black, President of Delaware County Community College.
Good morning. I am Dr. Joy Gates Black, and I have the honor of serving as the president of Delaware County Community College. Thank you for joining us today. The college-employer relationship is critical to the success of our students, our state, and the nation. This unique relationship allows community colleges to produce graduates that are highly trained and have the skills necessary to earn a family-sustaining wage. The college offers high-quality, affordable associate degrees for careers in advanced technology, skilled trades, nursing, and other Pennsylvania high-priority fields. We also offer industry-aligned short-term certificates leading directly to employment, related technical instruction for apprenticeships, hands-on training, and workforce training partnerships that allow us to contour our education and training to fit the needs of business and industry. Delaware County Community College's apprenticeship programs, such as the Naval Foundry and Propeller Center Apprenticeship and Helper Training Program at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, provide students the opportunity to work at the shipyard during the day and take courses at night, earning either an associate degree or a certificate in trades as a machinist, foundry molder, or propeller finisher. By aligning our curriculum with regional industry needs, Delaware County Community College ensures that we deliver not only a top quality education, we also provide the employees necessary to strengthen our region. Together, we can build the future of Pennsylvania. On behalf of the college, I look forward to working with you to build a stronger region and a stronger Pennsylvania.
Thank you so much, Dr. Black. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Karen Kozachyn, Vice President, Workforce and Economic Development for Delaware County Community College.
Good morning, everyone. Again, I am Karen Kozachyn. I am the Vice President for Workforce and Economic Development at Delaware County Community College. I know many of you. We have worked together on committees or have provided services to your companies. I see Jim in the back. We work with the Economic Development Council very closely. So my plan is to give you a rundown of all of the benefits that come with partnering with Delaware County Community College. So the college serves about 19,000 students annually in credit and non-credit programs. There are 51 associate's degrees, and you'll be happy to know that there are 35 certificate programs that focus solely on students getting jobs. The first partnership benefit is that we can provide is to help you find your next employee. This slide lists the career programs offered at Delaware County Community College. The degrees and certificates are directly aligned with the region's high priority occupations. Just some background. High priority occupation lists come from the Pennsylvania labor and industry and is used to make investments in education and training that is focused on the needs of employers. So that list becomes kind of our Bible. We follow that list, so that we make sure that the training and the education that we're providing at Delaware County Community College and other community colleges across the state are providing are aligned with what you need. So the students that are coming out with the skills that you have asked for and that you need in your workforce. Delaware County Community College offers students career pathways. They can begin with a non-credit credential such as an OSHA certification or a EPA lead-based paint certification that then leads to a certificate, an academic certificate in a high priority occupation that then could lead to an associate's degree, and then even beyond that into a four-year partner of ours. So just as an example, if you take the skilled trades and take carpentry. Our carpentry program is a 29 credit certificate program, academic certificate program. It is designed to be completed full-time in 2 semesters. So if they begin in the fall, they'll graduate in May. The students go to class in a cohort fashion. They're in class every morning from 8 to 11, 5 days a week, and they travel through the curriculum. Upon completion, they are skilled to begin a career as a carpenter apprentice, working as an entry-level construction tradesperson. If they so do choose, they can then go on to an associate's degree. They could do that immediately, or they could do that in the future. The programs are designed as a pathway. And as you see, there's, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we have advanced technology, which is all of our manufacturing umbrella programs, as well as emergency services, allied health, and information technology. Delaware County Community College feels as though the career pathway model is a successful model for students. It allows them the ability to enter the workforce with minimal student loans in a faster time frame, and then come back when they need to. So it's very customizable. So we have the training and the programs, and we also have the services. Through our student services center at the college, our team works with our employer partners to provide services such as career fairs, panel discussions, open houses. We have a web-based job board that allows employers to post positions and also manage the applications that come from the college. All about trying to get you a skilled workforce, trying to connect you with our successfully completed students and our alumni. In addition, the team works with each of the employers. They get to know you, they get to know the culture of your company. And they really, really try to fit the culture of your company with the student applicants that they refer to you, so that you're not wasting time on students that are not going to fit your needs. So I really do encourage you to reach out to our student employment services team and really utilize the services at the college. It really does save some time, and it really is a targeted recruitment process. So the next partner benefit is really a benefit for us, and it's kind of an ask from me to you as employers. We need you to share your expertise. For example, the college has advisory boards. Our advisory boards really do help us contour our curriculum and our equipment purchases so that it's aligned with what you expect the students to have upon completion. So you're vital to our curriculum and to our students' success right from the beginning. So we're always looking for advisory board members in every sector of disciplines at the institution. They meet 2 times, just to give you some background. They meet 2 times a year. It's not a very high lift. Often we will ask you sometimes during the year if we're working on a grant or we have some opportunity to purchase some equipment, we'll reach out to our employers in a certain discipline and ask what the equipment, if the equipment's valuable, if the students will gain additional experience or advantage in the employment sector if they have experience on a certain kind of equipment. So we really try not to have employer fatigue. For all of you, we know that you're busy. And we know that you're really working hard to fill some workforce shortages in your own areas. So we're conscious of that, but we still need you. Also, here's a big one. The college has 495 adjuncts. These professionals are full-time employees and subject matter experts in their field. With the way that the workforce shortage is, we have a shortage of skilled professionals to enter our classrooms and to help our students learn. So I encourage you, if you know retirees or you know people who have left the field who would make great professors and trainers, please encourage them to participate in the education and training system in the county. Lastly, guest speakers. Often community college students, I was telling Greg earlier, they're a very resilient group of students. And so often they're juggling 2 jobs. They have family responsibilities. There's a point in their training that they question whether should they just bag it and should they just stop going because the kids are sick and there's overtime at work that I could be getting. At that point, we bring in guest speakers. There is a certain point in a curriculum that you have to get them over the hump so that they can realize that what their goals were and how they can achieve them. Guest speakers, bringing in people from the industry to tell them what you're doing is great. This is what's to be expected, in the next year. This is how your life is going to be better. This is the pathway that you're on. It's important. I could speak until I'm blue in the face. They're not going to listen to me. They want the employers. They want to hear from you. They want to hear from the industry experts. So I encourage you to maybe make some time and come into the classrooms and chat with our students. And it also gives you a chance to connect with students prior to graduation. So you kind of get to build your own network who could then be your future workforce. So corporate college. Corporate college is a hidden gem of community colleges. Every community college in the country has an arm that's a corporate college. It could be called customized training. It could be called business innovation, business training. Everybody has a different term for it, but it is corporate college. We work with employers to train their incumbent workforce. We do onboarding, upskilling, reskilling. Training is offered online, on-site at your employer sites, and any one of our 7 locations here at Delaware County Community College. The training is cost-effective for employers because it's targeted. You're not paying for A to Z when you only need A to G. We come in, we have a team that comes in and assesses your need. We develop a curriculum. You meet with our subject matter expert and our instructor to make sure that they captured what your needs are. And then we develop a training program for you. It's delivered on site. If it's on site, it's delivered at your convenience and your employers, where your employers, their schedule will allow. It's very customizable. And like I said, it's very cost effective. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like. Here's a snapshot in 2018 and 2019. So just take 2019, the college trained 644 employees at 22 companies. So you'll see by the pie chart, the greatest demand is technical. What that means is welding, blueprint reading, industrial systems drawings, CNC programming, CNC operations. That is the biggest demand in this region right now, followed by computer applications. There is a little bit of overlap with the computer applications because we also do, CNC programming. So that's some computer applications as well. Project management software. So there is a little bit of overlap between computer applications and the technical skills too. They're still industrial related. Yes. Oh, well, I apologize. So 644 and 22 companies, 644 employees, incumbents in 22 companies. You'll notice I didn't put 2020. I'm just kind of ignoring 2020 as a general. I mean, it's just going to go from 19 to 21 in life. So I feel bad for anybody who's born in 20 because you're just like. So lastly, Delaware County Community College, as Dr. Gates Black mentioned in her opening remarks, we are the related technical instruction partner for quite a few apprenticeships. These are just 3 that I thought were of interesting. I think I know there's 5. There's 5 right now that we are currently the RTI for. But as Joy mentioned, the Naval Foundry and Propeller Center, we've been doing that since 2004. The students from the Navy prop shop is what we call it, come to the college for their related instruction, and they end up with an associate's degree. Philadelphia Shipyard, which is ACR, which was Kverner. Their apprenticeship program has used Delaware County Community College for their RTI since its inception when Kverner took up residency in Philadelphia. And then most recently, the early childhood education apprenticeship, which is a little unique. It's a little outside, which is why I put it on the list. It's a little outside the norm. When you think of an apprenticeship, you think of an apprenticeship as welders and machinists and carpenters and electricians. You don't generally think of early childhood education, but the apprenticeship model has now migrated into those careers, careers in life science, healthcare, because the model works. We have seen it over and over again, and it has finally become popular and well known that other industries are like, well, this is really great and we should really do this. So our early childhood education model is a partnership with 1199C out of Philadelphia. And currently we have 30 apprentices in that program who are achieving their certificate in early childhood education and then on to their degree. So that's just an interesting application of apprenticeship. I'd just like to thank you for allowing me to kind of run through some of these programs. My contact information, I have business cards. I left on the seat of all of the, I left on the chair of a catalog for corporate college. Please reach out. If there's anything that you think that I can do for you and the community college can do for you, please reach out. We'd be happy to have a conversation. We'd be happy to come out to the company. We'd be happy to do a needs assessment. We are the provider for the WEDNet training money, training dollars to come out of labor and industry. So we're happy to help you develop a training plan and, and kind of get your incumbent workers maybe reskilled into positions that are more needed to open up entry-level positions. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next, I'd like to introduce Tara Lowe. A little bit of background about Tara. She is the director for the Apprenticeship and Training Office at the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. She's a Conestoga High School graduate, so welcome home, right? 15 years experience in education and training. She's held positions such as the Director of Operations for the Lancaster Career Link, Director of Operations for the Boys and Girls Club of Lancaster, Director of Reentry Services for the Lancaster Career Link, a youth leadership coordinator, teacher, and a community college administrator. So welcome, Darren.
Hello, good morning. We're a little out, or I'm a little out of practice in person, so please bear with me. This is probably one of only 5 in-person presentations we've done, so this is exciting as well. Wonderful. So that was a great introduction. My name's Tara Lowe. I'm the Director of the Apprenticeship and Training Office at the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry. I started that role November of last year, and it has been a wonderful and crazy year since then. I have, frankly, experience and a passion for workforce program development, as well as building programs for collective impact. I come directly out of the local workforce system. As you heard, I was the director of operations at the Lancaster Career Link. I led our instructor team there. I led our youth programming there. And I also led the development of one of the only reentry services departments located within a Career Link or American Job Center across the country. So very, very proud of that work. And that's really what led me into apprenticeship, because of the crossover with the population we were serving. I have prior experience in the nonprofit sector, and in what feels like a different life at this point, I was a high school history educator. So the Pennsylvania Apprenticeship and Training Office is charged with overseeing all of the policy and program development for all registered apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's important to note as well, Pennsylvania is what's known as a state apprenticeship agency. About half of the states in the nation are state apprenticeship agencies. And what that means is my team, our office, works as an arm of the Federal Office of Apprenticeship. Pennsylvania has its own guidelines, its own requirements, its own paperwork and process for registering apprenticeship programs. So we really are only going to have time to scratch the surface today. Myself and my team is always here to support. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're a very small and mighty team, but we are growing. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I am going to start off today playing a little game, or I like to say test a theory. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Please, you probably don't have anything to write down with, but please just make a mental note, the first 1 or 2 things that come to mind. So question number 1, what would you say is one of the biggest barriers to workforce development for your organization or industry? What would you say is one of the biggest barriers to workforce development for your organization or industry? Please don't overthink it. Just think about the first 1 or 2 things that come to mind. Next question. What would you say is one of the biggest barriers to career development or access to training for job seekers? What would you say is one of the biggest barriers to career development or access to training for job seekers? Just make a quick mental note. If we have time, we're going to revisit your answers together. If not, I might just ask you to kind of revisit them amongst yourselves or on your own. So I'm also going to start off on a little bit of a sour note, unfortunately, but I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone in this room. So the US is suffering the beginning phases of a Great Sandstemic. Sandstemic means without people, or in our case, without enough people. This Sandstemic is projected to worsen throughout the century and will undoubtedly affect every business, college, and region. This is not new. This is not something brought on by COVID, but the effects of COVID and certainly the last year have accelerated this process. Now, unfortunately, we don't have time to really get into the details and the research behind the causes as to why this is happening, but I just want to briefly kind of go over some of those pre-existing conditions to the Great Sandstemic. So number 1, again, I don't think a surprise to anyone in this room, we have a mass exodus of baby boomers from the workforce. So last year alone, the number of baby boomer retirees increased by over 1 million. So that departure is essentially going to gut the economy of positions and decades of experience. And those positions are certainly hard to fill. Second pre-existing condition, we have record low labor force participation rate of prime age working Americans. So thousands of Americans have voluntarily opted out of looking for work. The children and the grandchildren of baby boomers are not replacing the baby boomers as they leave the workforce. And finally, we have one of the lowest birth rates in US history. So the national birth rate was already in decline, but it hit a 35-year low in 2019. And the size of the working age population has been steadily declining since 2008. That means that over the next generation, talent shortages will only compound. So again, I said I was going to start off on a little bit of a sour note, but there's good news. So what that means is job seekers are in the driver's seat. In this Sandstemic world, it can't just be about hiring more people, right? Because there aren't more people to hire. Companies really need to realize that they must rethink their strategy. We must recognize that people are a resource. We need to take a people-centered approach. We need to look at our recruiting strategies differently. We need to invest in our workforce. You'll hear me say that word a lot. And we need to reskill, upskill, and retain our workers. So naturally, I'm a little bit biased, but I really think registered apprenticeship is that investment that employers should make. My boss, Deputy Secretary Sheila Ireland, has said it over and over again the past few months. Registered apprenticeship remains the flagship model and framework for upskilling Pennsylvanians. And it's really no surprise. It allows us to close that skills gap that you hear so often about. And it also allows job seekers that may not have been able to invest in career development prior, invest in career development and continue to advance in their career. So what is registered apprenticeship? It's a little bit of a buzzword right now, but what I have found is a lot of people can't actually define what a registered apprenticeship is. So I want to just take a second to briefly go over that. So at the core of it, registered apprenticeship is a way for employers to invest in their workforce and close that skills gap that you hear so often about. It is an employer-driven, that's key. Learn while you earn, also key. Structured training model or framework that's specific to an occupation, an industry, and the actual job site that it's taking place at. Registered apprenticeships can be anywhere from 1 to 6 years. And they combine classroom learning, otherwise known as job-related technical instruction, with on-the-job training and on-the-job learning. So a big misconception about registered apprenticeship is that they're not customizable, right? But at the core of registered apprenticeship, it has to be customizable. It's supposed to be customized to the employer needs and the industry needs. There are, however, 5 key components that every registered apprenticeship would have. And in my opinion, this is what makes them so successful. So number 1, it's a paid job. Apprentices are paid full-time employees who are going to produce high quality work while they're learning new skills and enhancing the employer's needs. In addition, registered apprenticeship requires wage increases along with the apprentice learning new skills, meeting certain competencies. Component number 2, on-the-job learning or on-the-job training. That's essentially hands-on structured training from a mentor at the job site. Component number 3, classroom learning, related technical instruction. That's education in a classroom setting, could be virtual, could be in person, designed to improve the job-related skills. So that is the study of the theory behind the work being done during the on-the-job training at the actual job site. Component number 4, mentorship. Anyone involved in workforce development programming knows the key part that mentorship plays. This is a requirement of registered apprenticeship, and essentially the mentorship provides apprentices with the support of a skilled worker, or in our case, probably multiple, to assist and enhance that critical hands-on learning piece. This is very structured, the way that this happens with registered apprenticeship. And component number 5, credentials. So registered apprenticeship in itself offers a portable, nationally recognized credential. And we know some of the best programs are going to also incorporate other industry recognized credentials, along with college credits or potentially even degrees. So hopefully just by defining registered apprenticeship, you've started to put together why it works, what some of the benefits are to registered apprenticeship. But let's just take a second to go over the main benefits and what we talk about to job seekers as well as employers. So number one, registered apprenticeship closes the skills gaps and creates safer workplaces. So registered apprenticeship results in highly skilled employees. Remember, it is customized to the employer needs. The employer is at the center of building a registered apprenticeship. And because it's a structured and results proven model, and because it's created around the actual job site, it's going to create a safer and more productive workplace. Also, because of the concentration and use of mentors, we're also undoubtedly going to cut down on worker compensation costs. Also, because of that concentration and use of mentorship, we're going to ensure that that knowledge is passed down to the new entering workforce. So I think in 2019, the average wage of a manufacturing worker was 55. So we've actually seen an uptick in our manufacturing programs because the industry really recognized that they need to ensure that that knowledge is not leaving out the door. They need to ensure that the new workforce is gaining that knowledge and has that support. Number two, registered apprenticeship is a tool to address inequities in income and opportunity. So remember, registered apprenticeship is an earn as you learn model. It allows people to earn a salary while they're learning. This allows people that may not have been able to take time off to engage in education, work, earn a salary, earn credentials, potentially earn degrees, and be set up for career development long-term. In addition, as I indicated earlier, there is a requirement of wage increases along with apprentices earning new skills, meeting competencies, et cetera, et cetera. So what happens is the apprentices feel rewarded, they feel valued. That in turn creates a sense of loyalty in their employer, and that undoubtedly contributes to high retention rates. Registered apprenticeship is a career versus a job. You heard Karen talk about high priority occupations. Most registered apprenticeships are going to be in high priority occupations. The average wage for apprenticeship completers is $70,000 annually. And again, that could be earned anywhere from 1 to 6 years. In addition, apprenticeship graduates earn $300,000 more on average over the course of their career. Registered apprenticeship in itself is a pathway to progression. You're coming in at a certain level and you're leaving a highly skilled, or you're completing, I shouldn't say leaving, you're completing a highly skilled and highly invested worker. And we know some of the best programs are also setting you up to continue to earn degrees or potentially to go on to another registered apprenticeship program. And finally, there's no debt. That's huge. So registered apprenticeship is an investment by the employer in their workforce. They are paying for the instruction. They are also paying a salary to that worker as they learn new skills. And, you know, this is probably one of the biggest benefits that I talk about to employers. And I really think organizations must be able to forecast out on the savings that they're going to have and understand the long-term benefits of registered apprenticeship. Because of that Sandstemic, I think employers are understanding now that they do need to invest in their workforce. But I always share some of these statistics because I think it's helpful. So firstly, 94% of all apprentices stay with the employer who trained them at completion of the program. That retention rate only drops to 91% 3 years after completion. That's pretty darn good because I think the 3-year retention rate for college graduates was around 70% at this point. Also, the average return on investment is $1.47 for every $1 invested. We actually have a really great return on investment calculator that we use when talking to employers. How am I doing on time? Okay. So also, I'm cut off a little bit there, I apologize. The state and the federal administration have really reaffirmed their commitment in registered apprenticeship. We know registered apprenticeship sells itself, right? There's a huge return on investment for it, But the good news is that the state administration, as well as the federal administration, is highly investing in registered apprenticeship. And there are quite literally billions of dollars coming down the pike to help programs build their infrastructure and potentially support a few initial cohorts. So through PA Smart, Governor Wolf has already distributed $28 million through our apprenticeship and training office. We're actually in the process of awarding close to $14 million through our most recent PA Smart awards. Again, that money is really designed to help programs get off the ground, help current programs enhance in some way, maybe build a new recruitment pathway, and then also potentially support a few initial cohorts. It is not designed to support a program long-term because the programs need to be able to sustain themselves. That is a key in registered apprenticeship. And the Biden administration has also reaffirmed their commitment. The National Apprenticeship Act will be distributing billions of dollars. We're just not sure exactly what that's going to look like. I have a great video here. I'm not going to share it. We don't have time to talk about it today, but it is worth taking a look. It's a more traditional program. However, it's a great example of a full apprenticeship ecosystem. PMF Industries in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. About a month ago, I went out to visit them. They essentially recognized they had 7 CNC machinists leaving their organization within, I think, 3 years of each other. And they were a little panicked, to be frank. They didn't have individuals waiting in the wings to take those positions. They looked at what worked for them 30, 40 years ago, and it was registered apprenticeship. So they created a program. I was there. I was able to talk to 4 or 5 of their CNC machinist registered apprentices, and it was absolutely wonderful. All of them recognized the investment that PMF had made in them, and it was very clear to me that those individuals were planning on staying there long term. Another reason why I share this is because the interesting thing about that is the apprentices were actually traveling close to an hour. They were not from that local area, which is a little bit of an issue to me. And the Williamsport area also recognized that. They were having kids graduate from high school and leaving the area. So PMF and some other manufacturers got together with their local workforce development board. They also brought on their local CTCs, and they created a pre-apprenticeship program that the high school students can participate in while in high school. And then they essentially complete the pre-apprenticeship program and could potentially go to any of these participating registered apprenticeships and be fast-tracked through the program. So it's just a great example of that full ecosystem that we love to see. I'm just kind of rounding things out here. So over the past year, we've done a number of enhancements to the apprenticeship system in Pennsylvania. We've totally redone our paperwork. It is still paperwork, so I apologize, but we've made it inclusive of all program types. We've made it more user-friendly by doing things as simple as making them fillable forms. Imagine that. We've also totally redone our digital footprint. Please, after this, go check out our website. Just Google PA CareerLink Apprenticeship, and it really is a landing page for all things registered apprenticeship. You're going to see all the paperwork. You're going to see a lot of new knowledge products and outreach materials. So we know that there's a lot of great resources from the federal government, but we notated right away there was nothing coming out of Pennsylvania. And that's an issue because Pennsylvania is a state apprenticeship agency. We had nothing that spoke to the Pennsylvania process. So we put a lot of time into creating one-pagers, a funding one-pager, a general one-pager. The piece I'm most proud of is creating a registering an apprenticeship program guide for sponsors that goes over everything for sponsors, doesn't replace my staff, but it's an extra tool in the toolkit. And I'm a story person, but I'm also a number person. We currently have 877 unduplicated program sponsors, over 1,500 registered apprenticeship programs. By and large, we have more manufacturing programs than building trades programs. And I'll talk a little bit about some of our non-traditionals, but the building trades do serve majority of the apprentices in Pennsylvania. We have over 17,000 active apprentices right now, and we have about 77 registered pre-apprenticeship programs. So we are seeing more non-traditional occupations and sectors engaging in registered apprenticeship. Since 2016, apprenticeships in education have grown by 83%. I only see that number going up. Healthcare sector by 71%. And technology by 64%. I will notate this as well, although we really like to see non-traditional sectors and occupations growing, we will always look at the building trades as a best practice. They have done registered apprenticeship well for a very, very, very long time. So we will always come back to our quality registered apprenticeships in building trades, manufacturing as a best practice. And we're not going to have time to go over it today, but my theory is that registered apprenticeship could be an answer to any of those barriers that you notated kind of in your mind. If you can't make the connection, I have fun with it. It's like 5 degrees of separation. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I bet I can make the connection for you. So thank you so much. I hope I didn't go over too much. Oh yeah, happy to answer any questions. I'm sorry. Gentleman in the red. Right. Well, let me tell you this. When I came on board in this position, there were 2 full-time staff members at the office, one of which was retiring. Our complement was supposed to be 8. And we had really me and one other person. So we are steadily filling our staff, and the governor's office actually has given us permission to bring on 10 to 15 additional people beyond that original complement of 8. So when we get a staff on board, our hope is going to be to really work strategically with each local area, probably starting at the community college system, working with our local workforce boards, coming up with local regional strategies based around those profiles for each local area. And then, of course, strategically going out to businesses. We are also here, if a business has goals like that, we're here to make it happen for them. But we also want to drive some of that forward. The other thing I want to just briefly say is the governor's office had a goal of, I think, 25,000 active apprentices by 2025. We're certainly still going to keep that goal in mind, but we've also discussed that it's really not just about growing the number of apprentices or apprenticeships. It's really about growing the depth and ensuring that we have strong, safe programs. So I'm also going to be bringing on some additional staff that will essentially go out to some of our existing programs and assist them if they're having any barriers, make sure that they're functioning appropriately as well. So I think that's going to, again, help kind of grow that depth. Does that help? Does that, okay. Yes, sir.
We have a very small remodeling company, so we're only picking up 1, 2, 3 people a year. Is it kind of like, oh, we're looking for manufacturing where you're hiring 10 people a month or something, or is there minimum requirements?
No, there are not minimum requirements as far as how many apprentices you can bring on board. What we have found, there's something called a group sponsored model. Sometimes if you're a small individual employer, you can certainly create your own registered apprenticeship, but there may be already functioning group sponsored apprenticeships that you could become an affiliated employer underneath. And that does help with some of that administrative load. And you theoretically would use an already great structured framework.
The second question is there going to be in the idea of training or teaching or education, is there basically listed requirements that when somebody comes through your program or the program, they would be required to be taught this, and this? So we have existing stuff that we've created ourselves because we want everybody in the team to know how to do each area, whether it's leadership, customer service, actual skill trades.
Mhm.
And so we've been working over that past couple of years. I'm wondering how much different will it be, you know, from what is going to be required partnering with the program and then what we currently do and how to integrate that together so it's a streamless process that isn't 1,000 pages of paper to teach somebody.
So if you're creating your own program, you know, essentially it's customized to you as an employer, but part of our job is using best practices. If there's already programs out there, looking at them, seeing what they're doing, also ensuring that we're following industry guidelines, industry standards, any county standards or anything like that. So that's part of what our team will help you put together. It really should be a marriage of all appropriate standards, guidelines, and customized to your needs. And we rely heavily on what's already working out there. Take a look at it. And then we kind of use that to guide the creation of your specific program. If you're falling under an already existing program, you would need to fall under their program standards, their setup. There is some allowance for some customization, but again, that program sponsor, which is like a program lead, would have that conversation with you and should really be clear about what the guidelines, what the setup is. Yes, sir.
Tara, first of all, great job.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Jim Lochner. I'm with the Chester County Economic Development Council. I run their manufacturing alliance. So big proponent of this. So with that in mind, my question is, you mentioned $300,000 greater income over a lifetime compared to what?
Compared to that's a Department of Labor statistic. It didn't come out of our office. So the average salary is $300,000 more compared to someone that hasn't completed an apprenticeship program.
So not related to college at all, just.
No, not necessarily. Yes, not necessarily.
And just another follow-up. My understanding was the 1 million people that retired was in addition to the expectation. Am I misinformed?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So I think you said there were 1 million baby boomers that retired last year.
Yeah.
My understanding was that was 1 million more than
Correct.
what was expected. They were expecting 2 million and 3 million retired.
You got it.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Correct. You got it. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Do you have the language barriers?
Yes, absolutely. That's another big factor in what our office is doing is we need to ensure that diversity, equity, and inclusion is built in every step of the program. It's not just about the recruitment, it's ensuring that apprenticeship programs can serve individuals at every step of the process from all walks of life and in every way possible. So. Anything else? Good questions. Yes, sir.
Start at the education level, high school level.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, what's being done at the high school level to try to level the playing field between having all the promotion of different colleges and universities? Parents have told me you get millions of things in the mail every day about colleges and universities, but nothing about trade schools. And there's an unlevel playing field there in terms of what kids are exposed to and what they have an opportunity to become aware of.
I wholeheartedly agree with those sentiments. So part of our role is educating and advocating. We really need to get out there. Our office, we need to work with the local boards. We need to work with all of our local partners to get out there and advocate and educate about the trades, educate about registered apprenticeship programs. We have, part of what I wanted to do is really solidify our foundation in our office, make sure we had kind of good bones And we have very exciting plans for the future. I'm hoping to actually look out and do virtual tours for for counselors in the school system, for teachers in the school system, as well as for parents and students. Another thing that we're really highlighting and pushing, so to speak, is the pre-apprenticeship model. So I fully believe that pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship should be looked at as the premier work-based learning pathway. So if we can get more pre-apprenticeship programs in the school system, that's great. And actually, that was a focus of PA Smart. So we actually put a priority on programs that would integrate into the secondary school system because we want to see more of that. I was just I was working with Pittsburgh Public Schools 2 weeks ago. I was out there celebrating a carpentry program that they had created that fed directly into the United Brotherhood of Carpenters program. They had about 30 kids there that were in a pre-apprenticeship program. It was absolutely fabulous. It was a great experience to see. That's what I want to see in all the secondary schools, all the high schools out there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Tara, we want to thank you. That was certainly great information. And I just want to tell you, as a business owner, we've been using registered apprentices for as far back as I can remember. And we always tried to quantify it, but I never knew that it was north of a 40% return on investment. And Bob, you had touched on apprentices working on the Coatesville train station project. I want to just touch on one other thing. If you have apprentices that are registered in a Department of Labor approved program on prevailing wage work, such as the train station, you could take a first-year apprentice and the apprentice would get 40% of the posted prevailing wage, which is still far exceeds the living wage. The second year would be an additional 15, or I'm not exactly sure of the math, but we certainly, Vitri as a business owner certainly takes advantage of that. And I think this is where we're seeing this large return on investment. And I can assure you, we're going to have registered apprentices working on the train station project. So it's, I mean, it's really good information. And sure.
Sorry, Karen, put you on the spot. You mentioned your Office of Employment Services. I think you also mentioned you have 18 to 19,000 students. How many work in the office and how many students take advantage of that office? Because it's a really strong means of connecting students to employers.
Sorry. So it's really a team of 5 for the college. They do classroom visits, they do employer visits, they organize programming. We see, we place just about 300 of our graduates a year. And then additionally, we place another 100, 150 in co-op and internships programs, which is really before they start and gives you a chance to test drive an employee to see if they're, if they're a fit for your organization, while they're also earning credit and, job experience and a resume building entry on their, on their applications. Does that help?
Thank you, Karen. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Simi Myers, the Chief Diversity Inclusion Officer of Delaware County Community College.
All right, good morning. So many steps when you're presenting now, take the mask off. So I'm just here to talk about a new and exciting program that's in development. And I want to start by talking a little bit about our Center for Equity and Social Justice for those who are unfamiliar. So in 2020, and we're going to go back, I know we're saying that we're going to avoid talking about it, but I'm going to take us back for a second. So of course, if we look throughout the year, in addition to the pandemic, we saw so many other events that highlighted inequities in the country, that highlighted disparities in our country. And what we found was that there wasn't a lot of space for people to talk about this constructively, to talk about it in ways that weren't inflammatory. And we also found that in our workplaces, people wanted to be able to trust or have conversations with fellow employees or colleagues, and they weren't able to do that. So in July of 2020, we created the Center for Equity and Social Justice at Delaware County Community College. And this was really with the goal of providing a space for the community to learn and grow in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Since then, our signature program has been a series called Dialogues for Diversity. And we have had almost 700 people, different people come out and join us for these sessions where we talk about different topics and really give people an introduction to, how do we have these conversations and how do we do it productively? So fast forward now, we knew that businesses and different organizations were coming to us and saying, these are great, but we wish that we had more. We wish that there was more we could give our employees, or that someone could come and do one of these sessions for us. And so we were given a grant from the Foundation for Delaware County to develop a non-credit certificate for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this certificate is still in development. We're very excited about it. But the purpose of this certificate is essentially to create a space to strengthen our community through education and connection. What we know is that a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations, education organizations will have a diversity training that may look like a video that might be an hour-long video. You might have to click through it. Maybe there's a quiz at the end. And these definitely have their place. They can be very useful, but often they don't get to the applied side where, hey, now I know how to talk to my colleague, or I know how to talk to my friend about things like this. So we're creating this model in order to have an interactive, engaging way for people to learn and grow in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know that especially for retention of employees, it's important for people to feel respected, to feel seen, and also to have trust among colleagues. And so with this model, we're really building it so people not only get that foundational knowledge, the kind of conceptual knowledge, and be able to understand different terms, but also take that, apply that to their workplace, and also get practice in having those types of conversations. So right now, the model we have is a total of 24 hours. It's over the course of 3 different courses, 2 foundational courses, and then 1 course that is specific to the field that you're in. And so we're building it as diversity, equity, and inclusion for business, diversity, equity, and inclusion for educators, and then one that's a little more general for community leaders and those who may not quite fit into the other 2 sectors. And so this is something that, through, again, the Foundation for Delaware County, we are able to provide the first cohort with a free of charge experience. We are hoping to open the first cohort probably in late February, early March. We're still getting kind of all our materials together, and hopefully we'll be able to give all the official information before the end of this month. But if you are interested in learning more, I do have business cards here. You can ask questions now. I will stick around, but we are hoping to get an engaged first cohort to really participate in this experience. And if you're interested in sending a small cohort from your organization or participating yourself, please let me know. Thank you.
And finally, I'd like to introduce Dr. Mary Jo Boyer, Vice President, Branch Locations from Delaware County Community College.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all for coming. It's great to have you here if you've never been on the campus, and it's great to welcome you back if you've been here before. When we bring people together and we thought and dialogue, great things happen. I'm hoping that connections will also occur and we will be able to engage in discussion on partnerships and how we can really work together. Tara, you were great. Karen, you were great. Your way of explaining the amazing interaction that we can have between education and business. And certainly Karen and I have been in this all of our lives, so we certainly appreciate and understand that. But I want you to think about Delaware County Community College as your community college in Chester County. And we've been, gosh, 2002, we opened these doors. So we've been here a long time in Chester County. And we are doing so many amazing things with the workforce and economic development and skilled trades and all the things in the advanced manufacturing area. And Karen has really, she's just taken this on with such passion for the college. And we're expanding into dual enrollment. You talk about pre-apprenticeships. We are partnering with, my goodness, we probably have 16 or 18 high schools between both counties that we are doing complete certificate and associate degree programs with these students in high school. And right in your own backyard, Coatesville High School will plan to graduate 22 students in May from here with an associate degree before they walk across that stage in high school graduation. We're in dialogue with Downingtown High School. I hope I'm not letting the cat out of the bag here, but we're going to be presenting to their students next Monday and Tuesday. So we have the traditional track, but then we have this amazing workforce, skilled trades. We have students coming from 2 high schools in Delaware County taking carpentry courses. We have HVAC, we have auto. So if I could leave you with anything, it's a couple thoughts. One is, please remember the connection with the community college, because students that come to us sometimes are not sure where they want to go. They don't walk out that high school door with the career track in mind. And we have amazing advisors and counselors that work with them to help them find their niche, where they want to contribute and work and where they want to live and grow and the companies they want to align with. And then I would encourage any of you who have ideas for dual enrollment partnerships. Karen and I, anybody from the college is very happy to sit down with you, because we've just seen this work so many times and we're ready to grow it because we know the need is here and this county needs it. So that's my spiel, kind of. Sorry, right off the cuff, not even, any notes, just off the top of my head. So thank you. Any questions? No? I'll turn it back to Greg. Thank you.
Again, I would just like to thank everyone for coming to be with us here this morning. I'd like to thank Mahoney, Pico, Delaware County Community College. I'd like to thank Karen and Tara, Simi. Thank everyone for coming and support the trades. Thank you so much.